Hello internet friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Amanda and today I'm going to be sharing with you how I edit my thumbnails on my phone. And I did make one similar to this a really long time ago. I'll have that one linked down below if you want to watch it after this one. That one goes more in depth about what features each app has and how I use each of those features. This video is going to be more of an overview about all the apps that I use, how I use them, and what tips and tricks I have to make my thumbnails on my phone. So with that being said, let's just get into this. I think the first thing to address is why I use my phone instead of using a laptop or computer to edit my thumbnails as a lot of YouTubers do. I actually started using my phone to edit before PicMonkey stopped becoming free. PicMonkey is a site that a lot of YouTubers use. You have to like pay for it now or something. But anyway, I started using my phone before that because I can edit a lot faster on my phone. I was in a fandom growing up, the Dance Moms fandom, and I learned how to edit really quickly using apps on my phones. So now I can edit really quickly using the same apps that I use for the fandom as well as some other apps. So really to me it's just faster and easier. I use 4 main apps to edit my thumbnails. 3 of them are free and 1 costs $4.99. Visco or VSCO is an app that a lot of people use for Instagram. I also use it for Instagram. I start off with a picture that I have chosen for the thumbnail. I go into VSCO or Visco and I mess around with the filters, pick whatever filter looks best on it, which is usually A6. But I just mess with the saturation, contrast, exposure, white balance, etc. until it looks the best that it can possibly look from all the settings in the app. Next, this one's kind of optional, but I use the free version of Facetune to smooth out my face, whiten my teeth, and improve the picture a little bit more if I need to. I don't do this for every single thumbnail. I didn't do it for this one. I go into Facetune 2 and I click the auto tool and then I tone down the smoothness, brightness, detail, etc. so that it doesn't look too fake. It's where I do the majority of editing for my thumbnails. So on Fonto, I have installed a bunch of fonts that I found on dafont.com. I have more details on this in my other thumbnail video. Go watch that if you're confused. And what I do when I open Fonto is I first crop the image to the size of a YouTube thumbnail. The first picture that I have in my camera roll on my phone is a plain white background of a YouTube thumbnail size. It's just 1280 by 720 plain white. And I go into Fonto and I open that picture up and then I add another picture on top of that, which is the picture that I just edited for the thumbnail. And I'll crop that picture onto the white picture, making it the right size. You could also just directly crop the picture that you want to use in another app or something, but I found this to be the easiest to do it. After cropping it, I'll add text. This is pretty self-explanatory. Whatever text I want to add, I just add it on top, change the color, size, spacing, whatever you want to change. After adding the text, I'll look at the image and see if there's any extra space that I can add something in. So if there is some extra space or it looks awkward in one part of the photo or something, then I'll add some overlays. I like to just search emoji PNGs. So whatever emoji I'm trying to find, like if I'm trying to find a palm tree emoji, I'll just Google palm tree emoji PNG and then add it to Fonto. This is $4.99 and it is the revamped version of Superimpose. I talked about it in my last video. Superimpose was a really cool app and they made a version 2 where you can add multiple layers without saving or merging them together. It's really cool. It's like a mini Photoshop. I sometimes will use this app if I want to make shadows or whatever around myself but not the background, so it's really good for masking. It takes a while to get used to it, but there's some really cool effects on there. Another app that I occasionally will use is PicsArt. This one is also free, and PicsArt is an app where you can use a lot of effects and draw on pictures. So I like to use it to draw an outline around something in a picture, like myself for instance. I could draw like a white border around myself. And they also have a variety of different overlays. You have to pay for some, but you can get around it by watching an ad to get an overlay for free, so you really don't have to pay for anything. People have uploaded some really cool overlays on there, so I sometimes use those or mess with the effects on that app. That is all the apps that I basically use for thumbnails. I also like to look at my other video thumbnails when I'm making a thumbnail, just check check back and forth to make sure that the thumbnail that I'm currently making is gonna match with the theme of like my other thumbnails. So I don't really have a theme, I guess, but I just want to make sure it looks good with the other ones. So if I just made a thumbnail that has pink text, I don't want to make another one with pink text. I want to make one with a different color text so that it's not too matchy-matchy. Now I'm going to show some tips for some good thumbnails. I have 4 different tips. The first one is to use similar color schemes. If you look across all my thumbnails, you'll see I use a lot of pink, orange, yellow, and rainbow color text, which makes all my thumbnails look coherent. You don't want to be all over the place and have completely different themes for all of your thumbnails, or they just won't look good together. It can get kind of boring if you just keep using the same font over and over in all of your thumbnails. I have a certain font that I use a lot, but I also like to mix it up by adding other fonts for other different words and just adding new fonts to my font collection every once in a while so that the thumbnails don't get too repetitive and boring. I know it can be kind of challenging to learn how to do new things in editing apps, but just experiment, try new things so that your thumbnails stand out instead of looking like everyone else's thumbnails. Finally, just be creative, try new things like I mentioned before, and add your own twist to your thumbnails. At the end of the day, they are your thumbnails, you can do whatever you want with them. Just have fun, be creative with them. All for this video. I really hope you enjoyed and learned something from watching this. Let me know how you edit thumbnails down below in the comments, or if you're gonna start using any of the things I mentioned, let me know. That would be really cool. And yeah, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.